So I'm testing out my new Backfire Ranger X1 skateboard, all-terrain, here in Long Island City. So my first impression, it feels different from my Wago 2S, but it feels good. It feels smoother and more responsive. It doesn't feel too high off the ground, which I was a little worried about. But no, the height is good. Also, the remote feels good. It feels very grippy. I like the kind of rubberized texture of it. Coming up on my left is the iconic Pepsi Cola sign here in Long Island City. It used to sit atop a massive Pepsi Cola bottling plant, and now it's a historical landmark. It lights up bright red at night, and it's quite pretty. If you're ever in the neighborhood, come check it out. So normally I wouldn't dare ride my Wago over this terrain, but this Ranger is handling it really well. And there's the Manhattan skyline. The views from Long Island City are really spectacular here. And this area here is called Gantry State Park, and as you can see, the black towers over there are the gantries the park is named after. There's several piers over here, which I'll show you a little bit later in the video. But this whole area used to be highly industrial, and now it's highly residential. So I mentioned my Wago earlier, and you might be wondering why I got another skateboard. So to be clear, I love my Wago, and I will definitely still use it for short errands and stuff. But riding in New York City is quite the challenge because the streets are full of cracks and potholes. And I've definitely taken my fair share of spills. So I decided to get an all-terrain board. And now to be clear, I'll still ride cautiously, and I'll still be on the lookout for bumps and cracks. But I think this will be easier on my feet because I'm sure all of you know how tiring it gets to ride bumpy terrain over an extended period of time. And it's not fun. Also, if you're curious, I'm shooting this video with an Insta360 1X camera on a selfie stick. And you might be like, well, wait, where's the selfie stick? I don't see it. Well, that's the magic of this camera. But for those of you who don't believe in magic, from a technical standpoint, what happens is that the selfie stick is the same width as the base of the camera. And so it sits within the blind spot of the two 180-degree videos that get stitched together, and thus removing the selfie stick. So I'm now riding through the newest addition to the park. It's called Hunters Point South. The city opened this section about 2 years ago. So I'm about to make a pretty tight maneuver here to test out the double kingpin trucks. As you can see, it handles quite well. The trucks are they're impressive in their maneuverability. Check out that view. I also bought two Backfire lights, one for the front and one for the back. But I think I'm going to mount one Backfire light up front, and then I think I might get some shred lights, some red ones for the back. What do you think? That's a moment where I spotted that pier, and I was like, well, I think I'm going to turn around and go back. And here I am, just turning around. You don't really have to lean too hard on the board to turn. It's pretty responsive, those trucks. So in a nutshell, the board is just smooth overall. The ride is smooth and the acceleration is smooth. It just feels like a really refined board. Everything from the ESC to the wheels to the controller itself. I'm really happy with it. All right, so there it is. Thanks for joining me on my first ride with the Backfire Ranger X1. Let me know what you thought in the comments.